Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be featuring more battles on my climb to the front page of the leaderboard, hopefully using JJan's Open Great League team that I also used to hit legend. Really like this team. Azu is so underrated. So many teams were triple weak to Azu, so this was a pretty solid team. So overall, I went 16-9. I did concede one game because I guess the person was trying to meme and they were like trying to snipe their friend and all that stuff. But it doesn't really matter. Anyways, I picked up a lot of good leads. So this is a okay lead. I'm gonna throw. I'm gonna try to catch the drill run because usually they try to bait, but they actually decide to not throw right away. So this was a not the best situation for me. They decide to, I guess they would have to shield anyways, or they double throw because they want to try to leave this matchup with energy. The reason why I try to switch out is because I actually just barely survived. My Azu barely survived so many moves. This doesn't KO the Beedrill, but we'll put it pretty low. I decided to come to Medicham because I expect them to have another Medicham answer in the back. So, and plus I don't have to shield. And I'm going to let this go. And then I'm going to look to farm this Beedrill all the way down and come out with some energy. And they come into, I actually got really confused here because I was like, what the heck is this? All right. Then, Arungarigas, so it does hit super effective damage. I expected them to catch, that's why I didn't throw right away. I throw the drill run at the dugong. And I can survive a drill run. I expected them to bait because I had two shields here, but they actually end up going for the drill run, which is super devastating for me. And I'm gonna, I guess I could have thrown the drill run there, but I wanted to come up with a little bit of energy. Plus farm below, they do throw, and I'm gonna throw the drill run because I need energy to take out this Arungarius plus to stall the clock, and throw the Ice Punch. I switch out to Medicham, and they do elect to try to farm me down. If they would have threw the Sand Tomb, I think they win the game there. Because I wouldn't have made it to this. Well, not actually, maybe I would have made the Ice Punch, and I actually survive the Shadow Claw, and they do not. So very fortunate win on my side. So that worked out pretty nicely for me. But honestly, these like I face a lot of like post like legend players, so like the meta post legend is like so awkward here. So like you wouldn't see very many people try to climb with Dugong, Beedrill, and Arungarigas as their team. The team is like really weak to knockdown in the back. I guess that's why they have Dugong in the lead. Okay, so this is a good lead for me. The Ice Punch does do super effective damage. And I'm going to throw the Ice Punch at this Dragonair. I was a little bit weary of them catching. They actually make a nice play a little bit later on here. I decided to shield this because I think that they're going to have something in the back. And they actually make a beautiful catch here onto Lanturn. And I am going to throw the drill run, hoping that they see me tie me. But it looks like they actually lagged there because I didn't see a spark go through. Anyways, I decided to switch out, and they throw the Thunderbolt, which is fine for me. And I'm in a decent spot here. I do throw the Psychic, which I actually don't think actually KOs. Oh, and they just barely survive there, which is super unfortunate for me. They throw the Surf. And they come into Dragonair. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make it to the Ice Punch. Wait the clock here. I'm going to come in Azu. And they come into knockdown. This game's over here. Two Ice Beams would take out the knockdown. Plus, yeah, there's no really too much for them to do. They're quite weak to Sandslash with that team. Yeah, so again, that's also kind of a weird team. Dragonair, Noctowl, Lantern. All right, playing against what's up? Okay, so kind of a bad lead here. I do have two neutral matchups in the back. I try to catch, but the opponent elects not to throw right away. They build up a ton of energy. And they throw the Earthquake at me. I am going to throw the Ice Beam. The Ice Beam doesn't KO, but it would chip them quite a bit, and plus it's good timing. They will have to EQ if they want to KO, because I don't think the Hydro KOs here. So they do elect to throw the EQ. I go back in Sandslash. I wait for the Mud Shot and make sure they don't try to catch. And then I switch out into Metacham, and they come into Gliscor. Shadow Gliscor. This is actually really, really, really nice for me. This game's over. This Ice Punch does quite a bit of damage. Actually, they actually had they play. It's kind of interesting here, and attempted to throw the Ice Punch, but I refrain, and I'm able to land the Psychic. They had the Night Slash. They decided not to throw it, but this game's over here, right? So I can just fast move everything down, and the opponent decides to leave. This fifth game was really well played by the opponent. All these games were played pretty well by the opponents. I just hard countered the first couple opponents here with my team composition. So how I like to play this one, I'd like to try to catch the move onto Azumarill, because I do have two better answers in the back. And I'd rather take the damage onto Azumarill, pick up some energy, and they actually throw the Rock Slide, which is pretty common. And they come into Tropius. They bank a Rock Slide. I over farm just a little bit here, hoping that they miscount so I can get 2 Ice Beams off. And they will have to throw twice to take me out. But they play this kind of interesting here. So they actually undercharge here, which is I found kind of weird, to be honest. They could come into Medi. I decided to switch out because I don't want to get Satan and get counter down, because I'm eventually going to go to Azu anyways. And them coming G-Fist into the Medi would have been fine for me too. So they actually pup. Was it this game, or maybe it was the next set? Actually, this game, they played it. I can't remember what happened this game. I actually get the defense fall, which is actually super nice for me. I should have thrown the Ice Punch there at them, to be honest. I could predict them to catch, so I actually throw the Ice Punch, but the Psychic would do more, so kind of doesn't make sense for me to throw the Ice Punch in general. And I let this go. So now they're dry. But the Metacham has too much health for me to deal with. And I throw the Draw Run. Honestly, I probably should have just undercharged, and I shield this. I should, yeah, I played this. This game was winnable here, but I had the double Ice Punch already. Did I? Maybe I was one short there, but I end up don't survive that counter, and so I'm not able to get the Ice Punch off. And yeah, the Ice Punch would have been enough there. So maybe a little bit better play on my side. Undercharge the Draw Run, and then come up with 2 moves, and then farm down the farm down afterwards. It probably would have been more playable for me, but especially I end up having a shield left. So anyways, Sandslash into Noctowl. This is a perfectly fine matchup for me. They actually come into Kofagrigus here, which is pretty interesting. And then I'm going to throw the Draw Run, and then I'm going to look to switch out into Azumarill. And then you'll see on the stream, if you watch back on the stream, I say I hope they throw the Dark Pulse, which they do end up throwing the Dark Pulse, because it would be a little bit cheaper. And I'm just going to take the Shadow Ball and bubble down. And I'm going to just bubble down this Kofagrigus. So 2 Shadow Balls would have put my Azumarill very low. And then I'm going to do 1 bubble and throw the Ice Beam. They will reach the move, the Sky Attack, before I reach the second Ice Beam, but I will just barely survive it. If they throw a Shadow Ball, which they shouldn't have, then I wouldn't survive. And they actually catch onto Quagsire, which was a very nice catch by them, but I was gonna have to throw anyway. So, and I come to Metacham, don't wait the clock, and I'm in a very good spot right now. I actually lost the counter there, which is kind of annoying, but that's okay. The Mud Bomb. I'm going to throw the Ice Punch at this Quag. They end up shielding. Makes sense. I'm not going to shield this. I'm just going to throw the Ice Punch at them, I think. Maybe I go, oh yeah, just throw the Ice Punch because I'm just looking to dish out the damage. And I'm in a very comfortable spot right now. And the opponent realizes that there's not too much they can do there. So I go 4-1 in that first set. That's actually my Libre set. And I'm playing its Game Bird, which I believe is they came first or second. They actually come in a Noctowl, which is fine for me. I throw the Ice Punch, and then I'm gonna look to switch into Azu if they no shield. And I'm in a pretty decent spot. Let this go. I do want to come out with some energy on my Azumarill. Let this go. A little bit tricky for me, but if I get a shield advantage, I'm perfectly fine with that. I debated shielding this or letting it go, but I would survive it. And I throw the Ice Beam. They actually elect to no shield. And then they come into their Sandslash. That's totally fine though, because I'm going to be able to hard counter them. And this game's over here. There's not really too much they can do at this point in time. So the opponent decides to leave. Because there's no way they can double bait me and beat me and then land the Earth Power. They would just have to go straight for the Earth Power. Hopefully I no shield it. And then even then, it would be pretty tough for them to deal with the Medicham. So they actually were very weak to Sandslash. Sandslash lead. So, okay, Quag. Again, I tried to build up, try to catch a move onto my Azumarill. The opponent still throws versus my Azumarill. And they try to catch the move onto the Frostlass, but I make the prediction that they're trying to catch. And then the second play rough will put the Frostlass very low. I'm going to be able to survive the Shadow Ball, so that's why I don't like to throw right away. And the play rough wouldn't MK out anyways. And I'm going to do one and throw the play rough. I think I slightly undercharged this. Just to come out with a little bit more energy, but not enough for them to make it to the avalanche. I just should have thrown the Ice Beam here. I got a little bit greedy, hoping that they would try to farm me down. But I had the Ice Beam. Yeah, the Ice Beam there. I should have just thrown. Come to Medi. Let this go. And they're going to come up with quite a bit of energy. They actually have a ton of energy. I'm just going to look to counter down. I'm going to have to shield the next one. I shield this. They come in Charizard. I decide to Ice Punch here. I feel it's a safer play because if they don't shield, I'll double Ice Punch them. But I guess it doesn't really matter here because I'm going to be able to land 2 Ice Punches. And if they no shield this Ice Punch, then I'll just farm them down. Yeah. It was a safe play for me regardless. So, but maybe going Psychic there made a little bit more sense. But I was going to throw double Ice Punch, at least conceptually in my head. It made sense. But honestly, I should have just thrown Psychic. Thrown Psychic and then switched. Yeah, throw Psychic and then switch, and then I would have been okay. All right, Sandslash into Altaria. So I have multiple answers to this Altaria, and they come into Registeel, and I'm okay here. I will purposely lose switch because I do have 2 answers. Can build up some energy. And I'm going to throw the Psychic. So I could have thrown the Ice Punch and then control the switch, but I prefer, if there's a core breaker in the back, I'd prefer to have energy on the Sandslash. And if it's a Medicham, then I can chip this Medicham quite a bit. And they actually end up having a pretty neutral answer here in the form of no, it's a neutral answer to Swampert, to Azu, I should say. So having this energy here is really nice because now I'm just going to play out this matchup. And I shield. I do go for the ice punches in case they try to catch. And they actually call the move here. Yeah, they call the move here. And then I'm going to try to look to catch onto Azu. But then they just switch out into Altaria, and this game's over, right? So not really too much the opponent could have done in that situation. I guess they could have baited me, but I would have. Even if I take the EQ, it's not the EQ. It's not that big a deal. My Sandslash is a little bit too healthy for the Altaria. Okay, bad lead here. My first bad lead. But there's so many times where I'm like, they end up being weak to Medi in the back. And they switch out into Lickitung, and I instantly know what the team is. It's going to be a Bastiodon in the back. And I just like, yeah. So many times I go into Medi. I should just Ice Punch here, hope that they no shield, and maybe I can counter down. And then control the switch. I decided to just go for the Psychic. But I should just throw the Ice Punch, hope that they no shield. Because I can probably counter them down. Yeah, that looks like we do be about Ice Punch range. And yeah, this is going to be a little bit too tough for me. And I think I throw right before the next Body Slam. But I probably should have took the Body Slam, built up more energy. And then I would have been in a little bit better situation here. But unfortunately, they have a Bastiodon here and no Hydro Pump on my Azu. It's just, yeah, very well played by the opponent. And I'm just going to let them counter me down. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more energy on the Sandslash, or shield the Psychic and then play out that matchup and then try to catch later or something. I don't know. It's kind of a tough situation there. All right, Sandslash into Noctowl. This is a good lead for me. And I go to the Ice Punch, and then I wait for the Wing Attack just to make sure that they don't catch, because they don't have a move, so that's a perfectly safe play for me to do there. And it does quite a bit. And then they do the same. They actually wait for the Shadow Claw before they throw the Shadow Ball. And they come into Quagsire. I decided to go to Azumarill. I guess like Azumarill is just tankier. And this one actually played it pretty nice here. I need 2 Ice Beams to KO anyway, so that's why I go for the Ice Beam. I need 2 Charge Beams to KO anyway, so I go for the cheaper move. And then I throw the Ice Beam. And I actually decided to go with Stone Edge here, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because I definitely would have survived the move. Unfortunately for them, I'm able to counter them down. And then I think I count to 4 and then throw the Ice Punch. Well, I just want to throw before they get to the Sky Attack. I shield. And then I'm just going to look to counter down this Noctowl. I should be able to counter down beforehand. 6 counters to KO. And they come into Surfetch. And really, the only win con here is for them to call an Ice Punch bait. So they decided to call it. Because I can just go straight Psychic and shield and take out the Surfetch. All right. So overall, I had a lot of fun with this team. I'll probably play this team again, or maybe I'll play some Fossil, or let me know some suggestions on some teams I should play that you think will help me climb. Let me know if you tried this team. And thank you, JJan, for suggesting the team. If you like, sort of like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.